Hello and welcome to everyone. Today our guest is MMA fighter Kris Moutinho, coming fresh of his recent UFC win. So, Kris, what can you say about your recent win and how are you feeling about it? Then we're gonna go with the question by question.
Yeah, man, it could always be better, man. I could have always finished them faster or done it more spectacularly, but a win's a win, man. It's getting me one step closer to the ultimate goal, man. The ultimate goal is to be in the UFC, be a UFC champion, and eventually make it to the Hall of Fame. That those are my goals, and it was a good night, and I'm just gonna push forward and try to make that happen more frequently.
When did you start training MMA and which was your first martial art?
I started when I was like 19. I started fighting. My coach opened up a gym in my hometown. My first coach opened up a gym in my hometown, and kind of just fell in love with it. But actually, my first thing I started with was wrestling in high school. I was started when I was 15 wrestling, and just fell in love with the contact sport, the one-on-one, and it just took off from there.
Do you have a nickname and what is the background behind it?
Not really, not really. It's like little stupid, goofy ones I just gave to myself, but I no real nickname, nothing that is just me, man. This is all the sport is. It's just me.
How would you describe your fighting style?
Just exciting, man. I'm coming out there to finish the fight at every moment, and that's all I want, man. I just want finishes and wild, crazy, head banging fights, man. That's what I'm trying to do, and I got a great team behind me pushing me to get the outcomes that I strive for.
Who are your coaches and sparring partners at the moment?
I train with a slew of guys, man. Anybody in New England that's big right now is training with me. I train with Mitch Raposo and Jorgen De Castro. Freaking list goes on and on. I have so many training partners. I can't even name them all. But my coaches are Tommy Teixeira and Brian Raposo over at Regiment Training Center, and I also get work over at Lozon MMA and all different gyms, man, that are welcoming and open. But my home is Regiment Training Center.
Do you have the favorite strike and the favorite submission?
No, man, whatever gets the job done is what works for me, man. I just I'm letting things come as they may. You know what I mean? I don't search for the specific thing or the specific punch. Whatever's open, I'll take. If I got to take a couple to give a couple, I'll do that too. So fighting to me is just free form, man. Whatever comes, I'll take.
Do you have the favorite quote?
Not really, man. I'm not a big philosopher. You know what I mean? Like I'm just a meathead, bro. This is what we do. Get punched in the face. I don't have time for quotes. I got time to punch people and get punched, and we'll work on it from there. I have time when I get older to look at my philosophy.
What can you say about your first amateur fight?
It was like a drug, man. That's my first amateur fight was what was got me hooked on this thing, man. That first win, man. Now I'm just a little fight cokehead. This is where I am right now. You know what I mean? This is what it's what turned me on to this sport. I ended up getting lucky and I won that. Maybe if I lost, I'd be in a different spot. But who knows, man? Right now, it's what it is. The thrill of this sport, the one-on-one, knowing that I get to break another human being, and they get to try to break me, and it's just a feeling I can't get nowhere else. It's a feeling that you don't get in other sports. I played other sports growing up. I played football. I played all that. It just is not the same feeling, not the same effect, and it's something I couldn't live without right now.
Who was the hardest amateur opponent for you? I mean, let's be honest, you fought some really big names.
Yeah, dude, my career's all been tough, dude. Guys that are still killing it right now. obviously I fought dudes that made it to the UFC in my amateur career. You know what I mean? Like so, Manny obviously was a really tough fight. It was a lot of humbling, a lot of crap talk in that fight, building up to that fight. So it was a bitter pill to swallow when he beat me. But there's been other ones, man. Other ones too, like dudes that are 72 right now. Like I fought Don Shanis, I fought Will Smith, I fought a bunch of other really good guys that are doing really good things in the pro rankings right now outside the UFC. So it's crazy, man. But I would have to say Manny. Manny was probably my toughest fight.
What can you say about your first professional fight? Was it a big difference between amateur and pro? And how did you feel heading into your first professional battle?
It was a little more stress in the first one. Like you have a lot to prove coming off my amateur career. I had a lot to prove. I was a three title amateur champion, three different weight classes. So I was like I had a lot to prove coming into it. But it was the same thing. A lot of my amateur fights were 15 minutes. I was fighting a lot of 5 round amateur fights. So it wasn't much different in terms of the fight, but it was just a little more stress. And then as I got used to it, man, as I got more fights and more experience, it's fighting's fighting, man. In New England, I'm lucky. I'm kind of lucky. Our amateur fights are pretty much pro fights. We don't have to use shin guards. Our gloves are just a little bit poofier. Other than that, we have almost the same exact rule set. So I was very fortunate where I'm at.
In amateur bouts, are slams allowed or not? Because some federations allow it, some federations don't allow it.
You can slam them, you just can't spike them on their head. So other than that, the only thing that's not legal in the amateurs in New England is you can't do ankle twisting ankle locks and elbows and no knees to the face. But other than that, everything's the same.
Yeah. Well, that's not a big difference. I mean, if only elbows are prohibited, that's not a big difference.
Yeah, it's not much different. So it was actually pretty convenient because I was just fighting in what the last fight was in Philadelphia, and all the amateurs there, the rules were so different. They got to wear shin guards, and they can't kick in the head, they can't punch on the ground. So it was a very I was very fortunate that I actually had a real fight coming through the sport.
How did you knock out Jason Ryan? Was a spectacular one.
Yeah, so I hit him with a it was a 10-second head kick, and he was a tough kid, man, but he just had a very telegraphical style. I knew exactly what he was going to do. My coaches really studied him, and it was a pretty quick one. But more power to the kid. I see the kid every once in a while on Facebook. He's still fighting. He's still doing his thing. So good for him.
What can you say about your first professional loss? It was against Brandon Seller, I believe.
Yeah. Again, like I've said it over and over again over the years. Every dude that I lost to was a really tough fight, man. Really tough fighter. Even on paper with their records, I was supposed to walk through Brandon Siler. He's had over 20 fights. You know what I mean? He's had over 20 fights. Fought some of the best dudes in New England, best dudes around the country, and man, it was just a humbling experience. I was getting too big. I had a big head, and my ego was getting the best of me, and I thought I was more than I was. You know what I mean? And I wasn't training properly. It was a lesson I needed to learn. That's what I find out. I find out through this sport, man. I trust my God and all His lessons and all the things that He has taught me, man, that are making me a better person and a better fighter now. So it was a lesson I needed, and hopefully it does not happen again. I feel like my mind is good, my ego is in check, and I'm just gonna keep trying to keep it there and keep pushing away.
How did you defeat Damon Blackshire? He is a very serious opponent. I mean, I watched him many times.
It was I promise it was a tough fight, very close fight. I pride myself on having a really good gas tank, I work really hard and I train really hard and I believe in myself 100%. And was taking a beating in that fight. If you seen the fight, I was taking a beating in that first round, and I just believed in myself. I kept pushing forward. I kept coming forward, and took the second and third round, and ultimately took the fight. But it was close, man. He's a tough opponent. Who knows, man? We run it back someday or not, because he's on a collision course to the UFC as well, man. Really good guy, winning a lot of fights. So who knows, man? Maybe that fight happens again someday. But it was definitely a tough one.
You also fought another UFC name. It's Tony Gravelly. Honestly, Tony Gravelly had ups and downs in the UFC, but majority of fighters I interviewed praise him as a very unpredictable fighter. What do you think?
Yeah, he was one of the toughest guys I've ever fought, man. He's hard hitting. He hits hard. He's really aggressive, really strong, really good base. And yeah, man, it was a great fight. When I was fighting him, I was trying to put him away the whole time. He ended up taking me out in the fourth round. But man, I would again, like, all these fights that I've had, and who knows, maybe I run into him again, maybe I don't. But he, great fighter, great person, and watching his last fight, he knocked that last dude out. So he's only getting better, man. And he works hard, so I'm sure he will get better. But my goal right now is not to worry about a single person. Just worry about where I want to be in the next 5 years, and that's the top of the 135-pound division. I think I have the skill set. I work hard enough that I could do that. And it was just, again, fighting him was another lesson that I needed to learn, man. I needed to fix a couple things in my wrestling. Like, I'm not a D1 wrestler. I watch all these guys. You go to the UFC, 90% of them are D1 wrestlers. You know what I mean? These are high-level wrestlers. They wrestle internationally. So I just more things. I had to fix things. I have to fix things in my wrestling. I feel like my wrestling's getting better, and I'm just gonna keep improving on it and work my way to being at the top level.
Which was the toughest professional fight you've ever had?
Tony. Tony was tough. Tony was the toughest one, probably. He was just a very strong kid, very explosive, and his wrestling was just at another level at the time when I fought him. Another level than me. I couldn't throw a takedown. And really, I couldn't get off my back, and that's something that I swear I'll never let happen again. Being stuck on my back and not being able to get up. If I want to be in the UFC and I want to fight these guys, I have to be able to get up. I have to be able to stuff a takedown. Sorry, and get to my feet and I get put on my back. So I'm a striker, man. I like to punch people, and if I can't get off my back, then my game doesn't work.
What was the game plan for your fight that you just won?
Just push a pace, keep the fight on my feet, hit them as many times as I can, try to put them away. My coaches wanted me to shoot a little more. My coaches wanted me to pull a little more, but sometimes my stupid head doesn't let me do that. I like to walk forward, and sometimes I take more punches than I need to. But yeah, it was to push a pace, hit them, try to put them away. The rest, if a submission came, I would take it. But it was I like to keep it on my feet, and I like to bang. So that was the game plan.
You mentioned in the next 5 years. So can we expect to see you in UFC maybe sooner?
I would hope so, man. I have no clue, man. I would love to be there right now if I could. Like, if it was up to me, I'd be making it right now. But it's not up to me. I just gotta keep winning and keep trying to be the guy that they like. I feel like I am. I feel like I'm the kind of guy that they want to watch. I put on exciting fights. I come to finish the entire time. And when you listen to these guys talk, the big names of the UFC talk about what they want, and it's on paper, it's me, man. It's a guy who's going to push the pace. It's a guy that wants to fight the entire time. He doesn't sit there and run away and hide and lay on people. It's a guy that puts the pace on, tries to finish, and is willing to fight, and that's me.
How does one day in your life look like? Can you please describe one day in your life since the moment you get up until you go to sleep?
Yeah, man. It's just I got a pretty lame, boring life, man. I go to work. I work in a factory. I work 8 to 10 hours a day, and then I go home. I chill for a second, go to the gym. My gym's about an hour from me. We train for a few hours. I go home, eat, go to bed. You know what I mean? Rinse, repeat. That's about most of my days, man. Every once in a while, I hang out, and that's it. And watch some Netflix or something. But other than that, it's work and training, man.
Would you like to add something to this interview? Is there something we forgot to say? Would you like to give a shout out to somebody?
Yeah, for sure, man. I would like to thank you for having me on, allowing me to get my name out there a little more. And I would like to thank my girlfriend, my family, my teammates, my training partners, my coaches, my God, and I would just anybody who's watching this, seeing this, just follow me on Instagram, Kris_is_Solis, and all my social medias, Facebook, Twitter, everything, man. And just help me get my name out there and allow me to get what the UFC needs to get me to the next level. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the interview, Kris. I will start editing now. You can expect it tomorrow morning, your time. I will send you.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
All right. Have a great day, Kris.